Write the reference to context of the following lines. With trembling steps and humble reverence, she cometh in before the Almighty's view. Answer: these lines have been taken from a wedding song written by Edmund Spenser. This poem celebrates the wedding between the poet, Edmund Spenser, and Elizabeth Boyle. In the given lines, the poet describes that the bride is entering the church with trembling steps and humble reverence. She enters the church and now stands in front of the statue of Jesus, the Almighty's view. Write the reference to the context of the following lines. The infernal serpent, he it was whose guile, stirred up with envy and revenge, deceived the mother of mankind. Answer: these lines have been taken from Paradise Lost written by John Milton. In these lines, the poet seeks inspiration from the heavenly muse so that he may write this epic. Here, the poet asks who it was that made Adam and Eve commit the first sin. It was Satan, the infernal serpent, whose cunning and deceit, driven by envy and a desire for revenge, tempted and deceived Eve, the mother of mankind. As a result of his deception, Adam and Eve committed the first sin, which led to the fall of humankind and their expulsion from the Garden of Eden. Who is the bride in the poem A Wedding Song? Answer: the bride in the poem A Wedding Song is Elizabeth Boyle. This poem celebrates the wedding between the poet, Edmund Spenser, and Elizabeth Boyle that took place in 1594. Under whose guidance does the lady's chariot move in My Lady in Love's Chariot? Answer: in the poem, My Lady in Love's Chariot, Love himself skillfully guides the chariot. This chariot is drawn by swans and doves. Why did God not confer on man the gift offerest? Answer: God did not give man the gift of rest, because if man possessed complete rest and contentment, he might forget God and become proud of worldly blessings. Therefore, God kept rest with himself so that man, feeling restless and weary, would turn back to God for spiritual peace. Let not ambition mock their useful toil. To whom does the word there refer? Answer: this line is from Elegy written in a country churchyard by Thomas Gray. The word there refers to the poor village people, or humble farmers buried in the churchyard. What does the Harp of India symbolize? Answer: in the poem, The Harp of India by Henry Louis Vivian de Rosio, the harp symbolizes India's glorious poetic past, which has now become silent and neglected. Which stage of life do blue and silver bangles represent? Answer: blue and silver bangles represent the stage of maidenhood, the carefree and youthful phase of a young unmarried girl. What is the central theme of the poem, Can It Be? Answer: the central theme of Can It Be by Manmohan Ghosh is grief and disbelief over the death of a loved one. The poem expresses sorrow, shock, and reflection on the mystery and inevitability of death. How is the tiger described in The Tiger and the Deer by Sri Aurobindo? Answer: in The Tiger and the Deer by Sri Aurobindo, the tiger is described as brilliant, majestic, silent, and deadly. It has gleaming eyes, a mighty chest, and moves noiselessly, symbolizing the cruel and powerful beauty of nature.